Alright, so like it says, we're doing dirty rice today. So if you see my other videos, you know that I like to use ground turkey. It is cheap and it is pretty versatile. So this is honeysuckle and it is pretty much just all ground turkey. It's got one or two additives. They're all natural, so I'm fine with that. So if you've seen it before, you know these things like to kind of gush, so be careful when you cut into it so you don't make a mess. This one seems like it's fine. Now, I've noticed with this brand, you really need to kind of break it up a little more manually because you want those fine pieces. So this is a very finely ground product. Sorry about that. All right, so when I say break it up manually, you really need to, see if I can get that on camera, you really want to break it up into small pieces. You can do it with a spoon too, that's no problem. It just takes a little bit longer. So I'm going to keep on breaking these up and I'll cut back to you in a second. Alright guys, got it broken down in some pretty small pieces. Now, I already turned the heat on low, but I'm also going to add a little bit of water. About 1/2 cup of water. The reason you do that is because turkey has very little fat content. The problem that causes is that it doesn't have that liquid distribution of heat. So we add that water to help us assist in the cook. So I'm going to cook this for a few minutes. When it starts to brown up, I'll come back to you. I could probably go ahead and add right now 1/2 of a chopped onion. So that's going to go in. And once we get fully cooked, get it brown, I'll come back to you and talk about seasoning. All right, I'll see y'all then. All right, I got that ground turkey is browned up nice. So you can see there's a lot of water left over. Those onions definitely released some moisture, and we got about that 1/2 cup of water still in there. That's no problem. We're going to cook that off, but in the meantime, we're going to use it to help spread our seasoning. So I got 1 teaspoon of the following: cayenne pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning blend. And that is right here, and it's going right in. All right. I've got about 10 other seasonings that I can add, or I can cheat. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat today. So I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of Zatarain's. Just your standard Creole seasoning. And really, there's like 10 seasonings that are all in there, and it just doesn't make sense to go through all that trouble. So, all right, we're doing a real simple recipe today. All right, we're going to let those kind of cook in, sort of marinate in together. And we got a few ingredients left. And as soon as most of this moisture is gone, I will come back to you. So I'll see you then. All right, so most of the moisture has cooked off. A little bit left in there. That's no problem. We're going to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. That's going to simulate, maybe 3. That's going to simulate the fat that you would normally get traditionally from a sausage. Which, if you want to use a sausage, that's fine. It's a little more expensive. But you're going to get about the same kind of flavor, texture, and that kind of, well, you want it to be that greasy texture. I'm sorry, not texture. Well, mouthfeel, really. Same difference. What we're trying to get is that, well, the unhealthy flavor, but we're going to get that really, actually, the health benefits of that extra virgin olive oil. All right, I've got 12 ounces of rice cauliflower. Now, I like to pre-cook it. I microwave it for about 5 to 10 minutes. I just find you get a better end product. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and just dump that right in. Just gently stir that in. Part of the reason I like to pre-cook that cauliflower is it kind of turns it almost into like sponge-like. So you see how it's going to soak up all that flavoring and all that seasoning and that extra virgin olive oil. What you really want is an almost dry end product. And at this point, if you want to add a little more seasoning, if you like it a little spicier, go ahead and add a little more cayenne. Maybe a little more Zatarain's if you're into it. But we're about done, guys. So, that is New Orleans dirty rice. So, give it a shot at home, guys. I'll see you next time.